I do spend a little bit of time having a look around in the marketplace and seeing what products are out there, and occasionally things crop up and I think, that could be interesting. I wonder what that's like. On my Instagram feed, the Exotogg popped up one day. I looked at that, was going to sort of dismiss it, and then I thought, well, let's have a look at this a little bit closer and see what it's all about. Having looked at the website and seen what the claims were, I thought, you know what? I'll get in contact with these guys, see if they're interested in lending me one of these to do a test, and we'll see if it actually does work, and I can bring the results to you now. The Exotogg is essentially an inflatable body warmer. It's a kind of a tabard design, so it hooks over the top of your body and then fastens on the side with Velcro. And you have a marine grade two-way valve at the top here. And essentially you just fill it up with air and it acts as an insulator. The science behind it is solid and very simple. It effectively works as a layering system. So as you know, when you layer up underneath an outer garment, it's not necessarily the layers of clothing that keep you warm, it's the air that gets trapped in between them, which is why products like fleeces and down jackets are very successful, because they can trap a lot of air. Your body heat warms the air up, and that in turn keeps you warm going forward. Now, it's made of a lightweight TPU, and they've done this for a couple of reasons. One, it's very light and it's very easy to pack down, but it's also very resistant to cold temperatures, so it doesn't go brittle, and it doesn't risk actually breaking or cracking and losing that seal. This material is also antimicrobial and antibacterial, and I never thought I'd get that out on the first take. So it's resistant to mold and dampness and that sort of stuff. You're not going to get anything horrible growing in this, and it's also obviously very easy to clean. Exotogg claim that this is warmer than down, but another advantage that this has is it still works when wet. Obviously down or fleece material, once you get that wet, its ability to trap air becomes compromised and the thermal qualities soon quickly go. It does come with a bag, but you can pack it down very small. I haven't done that properly because I've not got all the air out of it, and it's easy to store in your pannier or your rucksack or a tank bag, or even possibly in your pocket. In total, it does weigh only 260 grams or 9 ounces. Now, Exotogg obviously promised quite a lot in their literature, but the only way to see if this works is to put it on, get out on the bike and give it a test. So that's exactly what I did. So I've been riding around for a couple of hours. It's not a cold day today. It's about 7 or 8 degrees at the moment. So chilly, but not really cold. So I put the RST X-ray jacket on without the thermal liner. So it's just the basic outside shell. And underneath the Exotogg, I'm wearing just the base layer. So now it's time to see if it actually works. So as you may be able to see, if you open up the jacket, you've got this little nozzle here. And all it takes is 3 or 4 breaths. There you go, 4 little breaths. You can feel it blowing up. There's a little valve on there as well to stop the air from coming back out. Now, one of the things when you're on a bike sat kind of static for a while and you start to lose that core body temperature and you start to get cold, it's very hard to get warm again. If you can stay warm, that's great, but if you start to lose that temperature, unless you stop and go into somewhere warm or get a warm drink, it's quite hard to get that temperature back in again. So in theory, adding this layer of air should start to warm me up. And the only way to test that is to get back out, do some riding and see what it's like with this inflated.
Two hours later.
So I've been riding in this for a little while now just to get the first impressions, and the first impressions are that it does work. Now, you don't get the obvious heat that you would get from something like a heated vest. You don't feel that warmth in the sense of feeling that heat on your body. What it does is a little bit more subtle, or maybe a little bit more natural, in the fact that you just don't feel cold. It does keep you warm. The science works. You just don't notice a source of heat, you just notice that you feel comfortable. Adjustment is very easy as well, because you've got easy access to this nozzle just to let air out or put more air in. One thing I did notice is that if you overinflate it, it's not as effective. So if you put too much air in and it becomes tight, then you don't really feel the benefit of that extra layer of air. So I'm going to go and do some more riding, and then we'll talk about that when I get back to the cave. So obviously the main question to ask is, does it work? And yes, it does. Admittedly, I only tested this for 1 day, and I didn't test it in extremely cold weather. So if Exotogg are happy for me to hang on to this, I'll wait until we get down to single digits or maybe close to freezing, and then I'll try it again. But I have to say, you also consider that this is not necessarily going to be the solution for everybody. There are some downfalls to it. Now, the first downfall is one of the reasons why it's good, but it's also one of the reasons why it could be bad, and that's because it's made from TPU. So effectively, you are putting a plastic tabard on over the top of what you're wearing. So if you've bought a very expensive Gore-Tex jacket for its breathability, you have to bear in mind that with this, you're going to put a very unbreathable item underneath that jacket. Obviously there's gaps at the side, and I didn't notice that I got sweaty in it, but as I say, I was only riding for a day. I wasn't doing anything strenuous. I was pretty much in a static position, so I think that's where it is best suited. And I guess the other con could be the price point. I'll check the current retail price and put that on the screen, but at the time I made this, it retails at around about the £99 mark. Now, I don't think that's, say, a bad price for this product, because it's very well made. It's got really good quality materials. You're not going to burst it. It's pretty tough and it does the job. However, at that price point, you are starting to creep into the world of electrically heated vests and jackets. But again, obviously there's cons to that as well. So the Exotogg is one of those products that it's going to work in some scenarios and not in others. It's going to work for some people, but not for everybody. But I thought I'd give it a test. It does do what they say. It does keep you warm. So if it's the sort of product that might be interested, I've put a link to Exotogg in the description down below. And all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And until next time, take care, ride safe, stay warm, and I'll see you soon. Bye.